Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you for 500 subscribers. I was super busy, and when I get to the channel, when I was not even expecting it, I see 500. Thank you so much for being here with me and being patient with me. But this time, I'll try not to be. Yeah, so today we're speaking about times and seasons. And when we talk about times and seasons, there's usually detachment. And times and seasons is noted in the Bible. And the Bible says there's times and seasons, times to plant, times to sow, times to reap, and so forth and so on. And what this tells us, I think this is the very core of our Christian lives, is that nothing is permanent. And the Bible also goes ahead and tells us that we do not live a life of permanence because we share the shame of the cross with Christ. And nothing is permanent when you look at it realistically, even or physically, even. And when we look at just life in itself, we find that there's usually times that come that we're really happy, and times that come that we're really low, and times that come when there's people surrounding us, in times of isolation, in times of pure joy, as we know. But now, the topic of today we're discussing is detachment, when it really comes to the time now when you need to detach, when the season is changing. And first of all, most people do not know that the season is changing. But seasons change when you see the normal season that you have been in is starting to begin to shift. Like, for example, let's say you have been in isolation, and now all of a sudden you see there's people now starting to to get introduced in your life. There's one or two people that now are starting to be in your life, and they're starting to be constant in your life, and consistent as well, yeah. Or you could be in isolation, you could have been in an isolated season, and now you see that God has given you a community, and maybe you are in a wilderness in such a way that you did not have a job, and now you're starting to see gigs open up for you, and things of that nature, yeah. And with the very same breath, it happens that as new things are happening, it happens that the old things are also passing away. So sometimes I know discerning seasons may not be as easy because you also need the gift of discernment, but we get to see it when seasons are changing and when the old is passing away, especially when the old is leaving. So when the old is leaving is when you need to be careful. You need to start seeing that, I think there's a shift, especially when the old things not just living in terms of living, but living in terms of they start becoming stale. Like, let's say now relationships start becoming stale, relationships start becoming or start becoming sour, for lack of a better word. They start becoming sour, they start becoming unfriendly, they start becoming, or they start having that bitterness of some sort, or jealousy, or some strife, resentment, and such kind of things. That is when we start noticing that, I think my season in this person's life, or this person's life, or this person in my life is actually fading away, or the season of this person is actually just fading away, yeah. But most of the time what we tend to do is we tend to hold on. Now, holding on has its own effects, and the effects of holding on are usually delay. Once you notice new people are in your life, or new things, we're not just talking about people, but new opportunities are in your life, or the new, it's just smelling new. Once you start noticing that, and you start noticing simultaneously that the old is starting to become sour and stale and is producing a stench, I think it's time to exit the stage, because when you delay, you also delay the new that is coming in further materializing. Something new might have just come knocking in your life, but you haven't fully opened the door yet because you haven't let the old out. So there's exactly no room for the new to come in and marinate, if you know what I mean. So simultaneously, as the new is starting to come in, I think the old should be out, because the new will not materialize fully to its degree or to its capacity as the way it is intended by God to, if the old is not let go. And it's painful sometimes. As I was telling my friend, detachment is painful because most of the time when we look at people or even a job, you're going to be like, I've worked in this place for 10 years. I've worked with this person for 15 years. I've known this person for 15 years. I've known this man for such X and Y years. How am I just letting it all go? Yes, it is time to let go. It does not matter about how many years you've worked at a company. When it is time to let go because there are new opportunities, you have to obey it. Because either of the two things are going to happen. One, either you're going to lose the new opportunities, or God is going to force the old to leave you, and now the old is going to leave you quite painfully. In terms of, let's look at it, if it is a job, and God communicates. God maybe has been even sending people to tell you, you need to get out of this place because this is a toxic work environment. And let's say you do not listen to it, or you do not take it as a warning from God, and if you continue working because you have that scarcity mindset of, how will I pay my bills, how will I do this, you continue, then God forces it. Okay, where you were supposed to just write, what is this called, a letter of resignation, yeah, where you're supposed to write just a resignation letter and quit, now you're forced to be fired and humiliated, or a scenario now just has to happen, and that scenario of course is embarrassing as we all know, so that you can be let go of. And it happens, now you're fired, and now you're forced into the new season. And now when you're in the new season, because now you have to recover from pain, from shame, from heartbreak, and such things, is now when you're awake, like, oh, okay, now this is a new season that I'm in now. Okay, now I understand why this had to happen for this. But it wouldn't have happened, it would have happened drama free if you would have discerned the times and seasons. And I think the most important prayer for us to pray right now in our lives is, God, give me discernment for new seasons. And we're not just talking about job opportunities, we talk about relationships, because relationships is where we dilly dally a lot in our lives, especially as women. Yeah, I know there's women and men watching, but especially as women, we like to dilly dally. God has sent us red flags or signs. Let's just call them signs, because some of them are just not red flags. Some of them are just signs that are telling us this is the time to quit. This is the time to leave this relationship, because this relationship is not materializing to the next level where it is supposed to be. But we tend to hold on. We're still like, oh, I've spent 8 years in this marriage. I've spent 10 years in this marriage. I've invested so much in this relationship, so I cannot look back. But in all actuality, this relationship or this person is not going to lead you to your next step. And there's better waiting for you. But that at that time you lack discernment. So, guys, the prayer to have here is, God, help me have discernment to tell whether times and seasons, or when times and seasons are shifting in my life, and to make the next move. Guys, I really appreciate that you're here. Kindly subscribe to my channel, and let's make this a better place. Thank you.